What is going on? So we've been working on the new pickups the last couple days, the new Pajero and the Aki. And the Pajero is coming along. It's really a good truck. I put the roof basket on the top, and we put the boost controller, intake. I started undercoating it. It was actually pretty clean underneath the truck, but you could see that it was starting to like get a couple little surface rust spots. So I stripped all, wire brushed everything, primed it, and then undercoating it just to save it so it doesn't actually start rusting or anything. Nothing crazy, but preserving it so it doesn't rust in the future. So I did this side. I have not done the other side yet, but I crawled underneath it and started getting all of it done. Even though now it is not winter anymore, still just want to keep it from rusting. I don't want any rot holes or anything in it, and it's actually really nice underneath it. So let's keep it that way. Besides that, I put a radio in it, Rally Art shift knob. A little messy in here, don't mind that. But it's got the nice floor mats. We got the touch screen in it, a little cheapy. And I replaced the altimeter unit with the spare one I had. Everything works on that now. And this one actually drives really nice. I do want to do the brakes to it. The brakes are rusty. You could tell it's been sitting for quite some time. And even driving it didn't take the rust off. So they are solid rotors. Unfortunately, nothing matches up with the brakes here. So the only real option is to order them from Japan. And even though they're like tiny little brakes, with shipping and everything, it's like $400 for 2 rotors. It's insane. And I really don't want to spend that much on 2 rotors for a little truck. So they are solid rotors. So I'm gonna cut them, see how they end up. Just do a quick resurface, try and get all the rust off of them, and a fresh set of pads. And they should be fine at that. I mean, it's got 65 horsepower. So as long as it cleans it up, it doesn't shake or anything, but they're just kind of ugly, they're rusty, so I want to clean them up. I'm sure it'll stop better afterwards. I did take the intake and all the good stuff off of this one, so this is going all back to stock. I have to mount the other stock tire because I popped it in the trail. I actually didn't pop it, it just came off the bead, so I got the spare on it right now. So I'm going to fix the matching tire. Everything's going back to stock on this. And I'm obviously gonna clean the hell out of it and get it up for sale. I'm having a little problems with the Aki. I actually got it running. It wouldn't start at first, but I got it running, but it won't stay running. It doesn't want to idle, and it keeps dying. The exhaust is toasted on it. There's holes all over it. So I'm gonna have to weld up a new exhaust for it, and I'm pretty sure it's just the carb needs to be cleaned. Besides that, it is a clean truck. I got a different set of tires because these ones are smoked. So yeah, I'm gonna try and just get it together and sold. I'm just gonna sell it. I mean, if I get stuck with it, I wouldn't cry about it. It's nice to have a little pickup around. So today we got a little bit of a project. We are going to work on the new Pajero Mini, and we're gonna lift it. I got a 2-inch lift all the way around. Let's get to it. I'll admit, I already started doing the job. I forgot to start filming. So the rear is already lifted. We got a 2-inch lift on the rear so far, but the rear was super easy. All I ended up doing was loosening the shocks and fitting a 2-inch spring spacer underneath it. So I just loosened both shocks, dropped the rear end down, slid the 2-inch rubber spacer underneath the springs, lifted it back up, put the shock bolts back in. So literally it was like 10 minutes worth of work, and we got 2 inches out of it, and I'm actually surprised how much of a little lift it got from it. So but now it's raked, and now it's lower in the front than the rear. So we are going to install these. They actually came out of Russia, believe it or not, and luckily I ordered them before all this was going on, because that's who makes these things for Pajero Minis. Apparently all the lifts pretty much come out of Russia. So I ordered these a couple months ago for my blue one actually, and I never put them on. So basically, same deal. It's like a spacer for the strut. It just goes on top of the strut mount. I took the 3 12mm bolts off, and I'm gonna see if we could do it one side at a time. They came with extended studs, so we're gonna have to bang those ones out of the shock mount and bang these ones in. And another thing we're gonna do today is just clean up. This is real quick and easy. Is I painted the lug bolts black because they were just kind of shanty looking. They had some surface rust, so I'm just wire brushing them, and I painting them with a satin black. It just looks a little cleaner too. So while we're working today, I got my sidekick with me. Say hi to everyone. Who's the star? Huh? Who's the star? Say hi. Say hi. Yeah, my sidekick. She's the best. You gonna throw me a 12 millimeter? You got a 12 millimeter for me? That's how it's done. All right, so I just had to bring the strut over to the vise so I can hold it with the vise and hit him out with a hammer. And we are going to put the extended new studs in, like so. And then I'll go back over to the vise and I will just basically tap them in to place. Easy enough. I just popped the sway bar end link off and it gave me enough room to slide the strut back in. So we're just gonna bolt the strut back together. I'm gonna leave that sway bar end link disconnected so I don't have to disconnect the other side. It'll give it enough play. And I should be able to bang out the other side fairly quick. So let's get to work. See how this thing looks. I hope it's even. I hope it's not higher in the front than the back. That'll drive me nuts. But it raised up pretty good in the back, about 2 inches, and these are 2-inch plates for the front. So let's hope it's even. All right, time to press these out and press the new ones in. We got the whole new setup going on, so let's get it back installed. All back together. So one thing that I didn't take into consideration, and I didn't really see anything about anyone else that's done this, having this issue, the sway bar end links are at a weird angle now. I might need extended ones, which I could just, you know, measure them up, and it's just like a generic sway bar end link. I'm gonna try and get it back on this side and, you know, rock it out, see how it is, but might need extended ones, you know, by, I'd say 10 to 20 millimeters would be fine. But let's see. I'm gonna try and get it back on now, and then we can lower it back down and see how high it is. Success. It is pretty even front and back, and it rides and drives awesome. What a cool little fucking mod to do, and it didn't take very long, an hour or two, and it's about it. It does look like the front's got a little bit of positive camber just from being raised up. That happened. So what I'm probably gonna end up doing, they actually sell camber plates for this, but they're hella expensive. Cusco makes them, and they come out of Japan. It's like 300 bucks for camber plates. Not gonna go that route more than likely. I am gonna just slot the strut because it's a McPherson, it's got the 2 bolts. So I'm just gonna slot either the top or bottom one. I'm gonna do a little research. That way it has a little adjustment, and that's it. That way we could straighten out the camber. It's not off by much, it's just a tiny bit of positive camber. But if anybody has a Pajero Mini and they want to lower it, this is what I use for the rear. So they sell kits, but none of the kits had a full 40 millimeter rear puck, basically. It was all 35 millimeters, and they're kind of expensive. So what I bought was this off eBay. It's just basically a 2-inch, here's a piece of it, because I had to trim it. It's basically a 2-inch spring spacer. It's got the spot for the springs on both sides. This is just a piece out of it that I cut off, but it's round, it's about the shape of a spring, and it's flexible. So I trimmed it down, So the spring fit right in it, and I just popped it in, and it worked really well. You know, it gave me almost 2 inches of lift. So if anybody has a Pajero and they want to do it, it's called Ride Effects. And here is the part number. It says it adds 1 inch of lift, but it's 2 inches big. I'll need bigger tires to fill it up. I wish I could find a matching pair to these. Blitz 01s, 16x7. I only have 2 of them though. I've had them for probably 10 years. And not that I've really looked, but here and there I have looked to see if I could find a pair. And it's not that easy to come by a 16-inch pair, but they would look awesome on the Pajero Mini. So if I was able to find another pair, I would put them right on that with some chunky tires, and it'll just be cool. You know the deal, guys. Shoot a like, comment, and give me a sub. And you guys will see more of the Pajero build. You guys will see more of the E36 build, the Japanese E36 build. You'll see more of my sedan M3 build. We're gonna paint that car and do a 5-speed swap to it. Love to supercharge it too, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're gonna paint it up and throw a 5-speed ZF in it. That's about it for today. Catch you guys on the next one. Here is the aftermath of lifting the Pajero though. So I didn't get any good outside footage of it, but we got a little bit of a 2-inch lift on it, and it drives awesome. You know, everything went together nice. It's good to go. I've taken it on the highway. It's nice and smooth. It doesn't feel much different, but it's got a little bit more of a lift. I actually sold the blue Pajero. It is gone. I sold it for less than I wanted to, but it definitely needed work. The rear end was blown out on it. Yeah, that time we went off-roading and got stuck, fucking knackered the rear end. So that thing was donezo. It needed a whole rear end. It is what it is. I got a new one, whatever. And I just got a message that the M3 is tentatively sold. So you know what that means, guys. It's S54 time.